Hey everyone, so the Sephora Spring Savings Event is upon us, and I'm here today to bring you all of my recommendations. If you could see my table right now, you would know that this is going to be a little bit of a lengthy video, so grab a snack, grab a drink. You guys know I like to go really in depth. I'm going to give you demos, swatches, all that good stuff. And by the way, I will have timestamps down below for you guys because this will be, again, a little bit lengthy. And Sephora is sponsoring today's video, which is wonderful, so thank you to you guys. All right, so let's get into the details of the spring savings event first, and then I'll dive into all of these recommendations. So for all members from the 1st through the 11th, the Sephora collection is 30% off. I will be talking about some Sephora collection items. If you are Rouge, the event has already started for you because I'm pretty sure I'm posting this on the 1st. From April 1st through the 11th, you can get 20% off your purchase with the code SAVESPRING. Get early access to the event from the 1st through the 4th. And on the 5th through the 11th, VIBs can shop 15% off. And insiders can shop from the 7th through the 11th and get 10% off their purchase. Again, the code is SAVESPRING for all tiers, and it is unlimited use. And if you're not a member yet of Sephora's Beauty Insider program, I highly suggest that you guys sign up. I will have a link down below for you guys. So let's dive in. This is going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of demos, swatches. You guys do appreciate the video. If you would like to shop within your budget, you can use any of my links to help make the videos that I do here possible. All right, shall we jump in? Because we got a lot to talk about. I have a good mix here of items that I've used for a long time and also some products that I have not even talked about yet. I'm really excited, but let's start off with primer. So I only have like 2 primer items. The first one is kind of a no-brainer for me. It is the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. This is a product that I have used for a very long time, and it's a product that I recommend for those of you that enjoy a really buttery base to your makeup. You want that hydration, but you don't want to necessarily add glow. You're looking for a product to truly act as a base to accept makeup. It really makes makeup apply smoothly and easily on the skin every single time. It gives this really pretty hydrated blur, and again, it feels nice and soothing on the skin, like a skincare item. It's really always one that I go back to, and it's a staple in my routine. Also only need a little bit just so that you guys know. The other kind of primer item, this is kind of an item that I use as a primer and on top of makeup, it's the Tatcha Luminous Dewy Skin Mist. And I want to recommend this one again because it is more on the expensive side. You can definitely save some money with some more expensive items, but this is just one of those products that if my skin is feeling extra dull, I'll usually prep and set with this, and I just find it brings back that radiance and it combats the dullness that my skin sometimes has. I feel like we all need those kind of makeup saving items in our arsenal, and this has certainly saved my skin look from getting too dry looking, too flat. This is one that I always like to keep on hand. Shall we talk about some foundation? So let's start with what is on my face today. It is the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. Now, I want to recommend this one because I just feel like, one, it's one of my favorite foundations of the moment. I was incredibly impressed when I tried this back in February. Since its launch, I can definitely understand why this product has, just everyone's been going crazy over it. It is so thin on the skin, you can really build it up, but this to me is just such a pretty clean makeup item in the sense that it gives you a very polished look to your skin without it being too flat. It still has that kind of light reflecting quality to it that makes it very wearable and still more skin-like. Again, it's very thin on the skin and it also lasts really well. And this is just one of those items I can just imagine a lot of different skin types getting along with. This is definitely going to be a go-to for this summer. I'm going to pick up my self-tan shade, whatever shade that might be, during the event. So just such an elegant formula. My other favorite, if my skin is feeling particularly dry, is the new Kosas Revealer Foundation. You guys know, I've been talking a lot about this foundation, and it's just because I love it. More of a light to medium coverage, whereas I would call the NARS more of a medium. It has this gorgeous freshness to it. It really gives you that fresh facial kind of look, but it's also a buildable product. I was personally surprised by the amount of coverage I could get out of this, and I think Something else that kind of surprised me about this is just the balance of the formula, how it looks really fresh and dewy, but it also has this really gorgeous filtered effect to it. It definitely smooths out the skin. It definitely gives a little bit of a blur, which I am slowly finding in base products for me personally. I don't want to have to choose between something that's really hydrating and glowy with something that's also going to give me a blur and a smoothness. And I think for a long time, a lot of formulas kind of stayed on their opposite ends of the spectrum. And I love that a lot of these newer formulas just have more nuance to them. If you deal with dryness, dullness, you want something to really give you that fresh skin look, just something that looks really juicy and hydrating, I definitely recommend this one. It wears beautifully. Maybe not one good for oily skin. I would say maybe go with the light reflecting. Another option that I have recommended for years is the Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Foundation. Both the original and the Radiant Lifting are products that I absolutely adore. So the Radiant Lifting is actually quite similar to the Kosas. So if you're a fan of this, you'll be a fan of this. If you're a fan of this, you'll be a fan of this. At least in my opinion, I find them to be very similar. But something that's really beautiful about the Synchro Skin technology is that it really moves with your skin. So as you know, you're moving your face, talking throughout the day, it does a beautiful job of like literally refreshing itself and melting back into the skin. It really truly is an innovation. I think a lot of brands say we have added this and this product will do this. This product, the Synchro Skin, I truly see the innovation because it is both a long wear formula that also looks really beautifully natural. And it's not a long wear formula that kind of cements down into the face. It moves again with your face. Gorgeous blur to this product, beautiful medium coverage. It is just an absolute favorite. The original Synchro Skin is just more of a creamy natural look, whereas if you want something with a touch more radiance, you can go with the Radiant Lifting. I really like both, but I tend to reach for the Radiant Lifting just because of my dry skin. As far as like a tinted SPF product goes, I've really been liking the one from Tower 28. It's just so easy and the formula is very elegant for a tinted SPF product like this. So I also think it's worth noting that with this item, if you use the correct amount to get the SPF 30 in here, like if you truly use it as your SPF item, it's not going to look too much on the skin. So that's something that I sometimes struggle with tinted SPFs that have coverage, that when I add it on the skin, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just too much product, which is why I typically use an SPF under a foundation. This is alcohol free. It's completely zinc oxide, 12.6%. And I believe it's one of the only like complexion products that has been accepted by the National Eczema Association. So if you have very, very sensitive skin and you are looking for a really beautiful light to medium coverage that has this really soft blur, again, it's more of just a middle of the road look, not too dewy, not too matte. I definitely recommend looking into this one. It applies really beautifully and easily with fingers. And again, with packaging like this, it's great for travel. And by the way, I'm not gonna call this a recommendation yet because I haven't tried it, but have you guys seen this? It's the new It Cosmetics CC Nude Glow. I picked it up. I want to try it out for you guys. I should have a review coming soon on this one. The savings event is a good time to save money on like the new releases that come out, especially for me, you know, because I'm reviewing products all the time. We'll talk about kind of my wish list later in this video because there's a lot on that wish list. And as far as concealer goes, we all know that it's the Kosas Revealer Concealer, or maybe if you're new to my channel, you might not know, but this is really one of the only concealers that I am super excited about, that I get excited to use because I do have more dark, hollow under eyes. I find that there are plenty of concealers that will look hydrating under the eyes and give me coverage, but they won't necessarily do a good job of concealing that hollow and kind of filling in the hollow to look really flat. And this does it every time. We'll certainly be picking up another one. Another favorite for complexion is the Say Air Set. This is a recommendation. Like, now is a good time to pick this up because it is more on the pricey side. It is powder made for people that do not like powder. If you're someone like, listen, I know that I occasionally want to powder my face, but every time I apply the powder, it looks bad. This is by far the best powder that I have used. It is so beautifully smoothing on the skin. This is certainly, I don't think, a powder to help like mattify the skin by any means. It's really made for those of you that I think want that fresh radiance to your skin still, but you do want to kind of just subtly take down shine and add a really beautiful blur to the skin. And by the way, there are some, I think, more dry skin friendly smoothing powders out there, but I have never used one that looks so lightweight on the skin. This really feels to me undetectable, and sometimes with other powders they can still be really smooth and blurring, but I can kind of just see them sitting on the skin, and this does a beautiful job of not looking like powder. For example, I have a little bit of it on my forehead and it doesn't, again, it doesn't look like a flat look. I would typically go into bronzer and blush, but I just have all these pretty eyeshadows in front of me. So let's first start with what is on my eyes. This is the 5 Color Couture palette from Dior. Now, I picked this up on a whim. Like, I just swatched it and was like, I need this because the colors looked gorgeous. And wow, I am so glad that I did. I have never heard anyone talk about these palettes. So this palette is $5.99 new look. It's more of a smokier palette. This is the perfect, like, slightly glossy, grungy looking smoky palette. So if you're looking for like the ideal cool toned, glossy looking palette, like, I feel like it's this. The pigment is definitely there though, so it's not for the faint of heart in my opinion. Like, these mattes really bring the rich pigment. You have like this taupey brown that's a very soft metallic. Like, on its own, that is a beautiful one and done shade, but I really feel like the star of the show are these two shades. You have this gorgeous, it's just a gorgeous glossy looking gunmetal, and then you have this extra glossy looking topper right on the bottom, and together they just look gorgeous. I feel like this palette is perfect for those of you that want just a little bit more of an undone, again, wet effect kind of smoky eye, and I never even knew that that's something that I wanted so bad until I tried this. I created a look with this for the first time and put it over on Instagram, and you guys were like, what is on your eyes? What is on your eyes? This is what was on my eyes. I actually plan on, I really want to do like a full tutorial with this palette just so that you guys can get a better feel for it, but I have been absolutely loving this. Speaking of some beautiful wet looking eyeshadows, you guys know that Space Cowboy from Urban Decay, this is a favorite. It is a product that I've used for years, and it's my favorite wet glossy looking topper for really any look. So the base pigment to it is more beigey. It has this gorgeous kind of translucence to it, but the reflect in here is ultra sparkly. And the smoothness of this product, translucence of the base pigment paired with that really gorgeous sparkle just makes for that, you know, light reflection on the water kind of look, but on the eyes. It's beautiful stuff. And some of the other Moonda shadows have this same finish. I'm thinking of like Lithium, Solstice. There are a couple more that I can't think of off the top of my head, but if you're into that kind of look, these are definitely something to look into. And I also have another wet looking eyeshadow video coming very soon for you guys. Now, as for cream eyeshadows, of course, these are a little bit more expensive, so the savings event is a good time to pick them up. These are the Tom Ford cream and powder eyeshadows. So you can see that you get a cream on the bottom, you get this little pot of more of like a metallic color, and then on top you get more of a pressed glitter that you can add right into like the middle of the eye. You can also just use this on its own or just the cream on its own, but then paired together. For me, this is like an elevated one and done. Like, obviously it's 2 steps, but the whole look looks like you put in so much time. The shades are absolutely gorgeous. My favorite personally is Naked Bronze. I'm obsessed with it. I think it's absolutely perfect if you want that chocolatey elegant eye look. And I think Naked Peach is a little bit more appropriate for like an everyday look with that peachy kind of shimmer on top. These are really beautiful. And I do find that out of the cream shadows I have, I think because you kind of layer the powder on top, these last really well. A quick nod and mention to Charlotte Tilbury Oyster Pearl. If you guys haven't heard my ongoing love story, it's more of like, at this point, it's like a trilogy. It's a really flattering metallic eyeshadow. It has this gorgeous creamy reflection to it. It blends so elegantly, and every single time I wear it, like, I love it. So as far as makeup goes, I look for those staple products that look beautiful and elegant every time. This is that like model off duty, one and done, out the door, elegant eyeshadow. And that is how I always describe it, because that's really, I feel like, the best way I can describe it. And next up, I actually did do a video on these pretty recently, but I had to recommend them because they are 30% off right now. So these are the Sephora collection colorful eyeshadows. I absolutely love these. There are just so many different effects that you can get because there are a bunch of different finishes and formulas within the range. So for example, if you want something that's just really creamy, straight metallic, not like a lot of glitter, you could go with one of the shades like To the Moon and Back. This is just more of a champagne creamy eyeshadow. This is more densely pressed, but in the finger, like, to me, it feels like a cream. So if you really gravitate towards creams, this might be one that you would like. Full saturated pigment. My personal out of this kind of formula is the shade Shock Chalk. You want something to kind of add brightness to a look, like a glitter topper kind of situation. You can use the shade Demanding, the shade First Light. Both of these are really pretty to add like on top of a look as kind of like a finishing touch. But my absolute favorite, and the one that kind of gives me a soft, wet effect on the eyes, is the shade Choco Excess. I absolutely love this shade, and this is one that I know I'll be using a lot this year. There are seriously a ton of different shades to choose from. I feel like there are still hidden gems within this line that I still need to find. By the way, the shade Choco Excess, like the formula itself, it obviously does have a base pigment. The way it feels in the finger is very similar to something like the topper from Tom Ford. Obviously, they look different because of that base pigment, but the formula in and of itself, these formulas are really pretty. Okay, one non-glitter product, and then we'll talk about one more glitter product. This is the IT Cosmetics Superhero No Tug Eyeshadow Stick. I had to recommend this one. This is the shade Super Slate, but they have a bunch of other shades. If you're someone that's like, listen, I just want kind of like a creamy satin look to my eyes. I want something that's easy to blend. It's going to last really well. I would recommend one of these. They're just kind of a no fuss product, and I feel like even though a shadow like this isn't necessarily like uber sexy the way that some of the glittery shadows are, and by sexy I don't mean that you can't get like a sexy look out of this. I more so mean that, like, you know, we're all like, at least I am, very drawn to glitter. I'm like, oh my gosh, that looks so pretty. But kind of like a workhorse product like this, I find to be underrated in a makeup bag. It's going to make any look last longer if you use it as a base. And the pigmentation isn't too stark, so you can really build it up. It's easy to control. One more eyeshadow pick would be the Pat McGrath palettes. Of course, you guys probably saw this coming because I feel like the Pat McGrath formula is the best powder formula on the market. I love the vision of Pat McGrath. It really truly makes you feel, it makes you feel like an artist, and I feel like it really also pushes you out of your comfort zone. This is the Utopian Dream palette, and I just love playing with like these pinks in this palette. But you also have these like gorgeous, everyday, smooth as butter mattes. These eyeshadows blend themselves. They're good. I absolutely adore the Divine Rose palette as well. I have the Subliminal coming in the mail, like the cool toned one with the blue. I'm so excited for that. Pat McGrath is also a good way to go during the savings event. Okay, we are moving right along. So let's talk about some blushes. This blush pick is not going to be a surprise for you guys. They are the Rare Beauty liquid blushes. This is a great time to pick up one of these. First of all, one of these colors is going to last you so long because the pigmentation on these are insane. But I just absolutely love this formula. I'm wearing the shade Encourage on my cheeks today. If you're someone that's just like, You need your cream blush to last long. You want that pigmentation and you want a really clean blend. These work so beautifully. Again, you really don't need a lot. Like the first time you apply it, you'll probably over apply, but it's really easy. Like once you get that out of the way, you know to go in with less product than you would think. They last so long and they look so like softening and blurring on the skin, especially if you get the matte shades. Personally, I think the matte shades are always my favorite from this line. And again, the shades, like there are so many different ones to choose. Just always a formula that I go back and recommend. Now, a newer favorite of mine, these little guys, I have been absolutely adoring these. These are the Benefit Lip and Cheek Tints. So I have 4 shades. I think, are there more than this? I think I have all 4. I have the Love Tint, the Go-Go Tint, and the Bennett Tint. And I've also absolutely been loving the Cha-Cha Tint. This is what I was wearing when I was on vacation, like every single day. It is the perfect summertime blush. The reason I'm including these in the blush category, and listen, I typically use them both on the lips and the cheeks. It's like so easy to just like do a monochromatic look with this. It's very hard, I think, to find a product that will last long and look good on both the lips and the cheeks. I feel like a lot of products say that they're multi-purpose, but you can kind of tell that it's better for one thing or the other. These truly work well both on the cheeks and on the lips. Again, the shade Cha-Cha just gives you this bright, vibrant orange pop. And because they're more of a liquidy stain product, they really melt into the skin and they become kind of like undetectable texture-wise. You can obviously definitely see the pigment, but they're just so incredibly thin. They last so long. Really ideal if you're someone that doesn't like the feeling of makeup on your skin, if you're someone that finds that your cream makeup doesn't last a long time. These are absolutely beautiful. Highly recommend these. And I also really love, I've been loving adding a little bit to like the middle of my lip and kind of doing like an ombre lip popsicle tint moment, and yeah, they're really pretty. I think my favorite is the Bennett tint and the Cha-Cha tint. I think the Love tint and the Go-Go tint are pretty similar once they're actually applied, so you probably don't need all 4. But let's say you're like, Amanda, I'm a powder blush person. That's totally fine. This one from Makeup by Mario is definitely one that I would recommend. It's the Soft Pop Powder Blush, and this is the shade Creamy Peach. So I have also tried, I think it's like the berry shade, Wild Berry, is that right? I have tried that one. I don't think that the formula is as pretty as this one because this one has a little bit of like a luminosity to it. It goes onto the skin and just looks really fresh, really melts into the skin beautifully. If you want like the perfect luminous creamy peach color for summer or even spring, like this is perfect. It's definitely like my most used powder blush in my collection. I have really like fallen in love with Makeup by Mario products. I think that their products are absolutely gorgeous. Getting into bronzer, let's just start with Makeup by Mario. I love the powder bronzer from that line. The sculpting bronzer, it is gorgeous, and I'm going to be picking up one during the event because I cannot find mine. I've done my due diligence and it's gone. So I have to just pick one up for myself, and I'm so excited to have that back in my life. I do not like powder bronzers very much. I think they can just look so choppy. Back when I started to get into makeup, I tried so many, spent like really such an exorbitant amount of money on bronzers to find one that would look really clean and have a good blend on the skin, not look muddy, not look choppy, and they're really few and far between. But the one from Makeup by Mario, because the texture is so thin, it really melts down into the skin. It doesn't really read as too powdery, but it is still a matte product. It's gorgeous. I also love the bronzing sticks. I'm wearing the shade Light today. I also love the shade Light Medium if I want more of like a chiseled kind of look for my skin. They blend beautifully and they want to adhere to the skin. There are so many cream bronzers that I don't know, they just kind of like move around the product with them. I think they have too much slip, and a lot of brands I'm seeing are coming out with these formulas that just kind of slip around on the skin, and I like a cream bronzer that sticks where you put it. I want to get that precision. I want to get that pigment. I don't want something that is going to mess with the other products under it. This is creamy, it's blendable, it's pigmented, and it is just, I find, one of the best out there. And my other recommendation would be the Sun Melt from Say. This is more close to something like the Chanel Tinted Chanel. Very, very thin. It's thinner than the Makeup by Mario. You wouldn't think so. Like, you look at it in the pan and you're like, oh, that's gonna be really creamy. But it kind of transforms into more of like a creamed powder formula, but not a flat looking powder. So natural, so easy to use. And if you guys are looking for the perfect brush to use with cream makeup, like whether it's blush, bronzer, Rare Beauty does some excellent brushes. So the foundation brush is, I think, my favorite. This works great for bronzer, for blush. It's so soft, and you kind of can just press the product into the skin so that everything meshes well, and you're never left with like a choppy look. You can use it obviously with foundation as well, but this is one of the best brushes ever. And as far as eye brushes go, I have two from the Sephora collection. I have the Pro Shadow 15 brush, and then I have the Pro Shadow 18. So the 18 is more of a dense pencil brush. I love this for adding a lot of color and richness. It's also good for the lower lash line. In general, this is like my most used cream eyeshadow brush. I absolutely love it. You can, again, also get it for 30% off during the savings event. So for me, it's like a no-brainer. This one is really gorgeous. The Pro 15 is flatter, so it's better if you kind of want to do like a one and done swipe on the eyes. You can also tilt it and kind of get into the crease like this. Both are really, really beautiful. One eyebrow product, it is the Patrick Ta Major Dimension Brow Lamination Gel. It's great. I love it. It's my most used brow gel. Since I like started trying it, the hold is excellent. It really pushes up the brow hairs and keeps them there. You don't need much, by the way. I feel like when I started using this, I was over applying it. So just know that you don't need a lot. But the brush, it just pushes up those brows, gives them such a gorgeous, fluffy look, but it's not like a really shiny eyebrow look. I prefer something a little bit more on the matte side, and this does a gorgeous job. The hold is beautiful, and it's just a product that I notice when I'm not like using it in my brow routine. I'm like, something's like a little bit different. Then I add this and I'm like, oh, that's what it was. Now we have a bunch of lip products to talk about. Let's talk about what is on my lips, the balm. I haven't talked about this before, but this is the Heartcore lipstick from Too Faced, and this is the shade Sweet Tea. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. If you're someone that has chronically dry lips and you're looking for a lip balm that isn't really, really balmy or shiny, you want something that's more, I don't know, that feels more like a balm lipstick hybrid that doesn't have a lot of the extra shine that those products sometimes have, this is perfect. It feels hydrating. It feels secure, which is really nice. It has a touch of a blur and like a blotted effect to it. Again, it's not overwhelmingly shiny, so I just feel like this lasts longer than typical products in this vein. This color is gorgeous, like it's right up my alley. And it smells like just like fruity candy. Definitely a favorite. If you want like an alternative to a classic lipstick, but you want something that is a touch more balmy, this is a good way to go. Another favorite that I talk about all the time, if you want something with a little bit more shine, this is the Happy Kiss Balm from Charlotte Tilbury. This one's more of a vanilla scent, by the way. I'm gonna try and remember to tell you guys how these smell, but this is my, like, one of my holy grail lip products because it just gives you that really plush, balmy feeling on the lips, and it also just adds this gorgeous shine and really fills in the lines of the lips. The color is absolutely stunning, and I just feel like every time I wear it, I'm like, my lips just have that extra bit of that plushy look to them. They look really healthy, and I always pair it with the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk lip liner. Now, if you're looking for lip plumper items, you want something to really add the plump, I have a couple of recommendations. So first, this one from Dior, the Lip Maximizer in the shade Rosewood, is definitely a favorite. I love this one because it feels closer to a balm than a lip gloss kind of plumper. It still has a nice balmy, hydrating quality to it. The pigment isn't too intense, it's not too sheer, and I also like that it's more of like a sweet mint kind of tingle. It's not like obnoxious lip plumper smell. I really like the smell of Dior lip products typically. I like that the applicator is really small so I can get really precise. And I just find that it's a really healthy lip look. It's perfect for those of you that want a little bit of a plump, but you don't want anything too tingly or too intense. Now, if you're someone that's like, listen, Amanda, I want a plumper that really will fill in every line of my lips, like supermodel, big lip look, the Forget the Filler from Lawless will get you there. It looks really beautiful on the lips. Again, it just has that water droplet effect. Every line is smoothed out. So if you have a lot of lip lines and you find that some lip glosses are too thin, like they don't do a good job of kind of filling in those lines, this will do a beautiful job. But I also don't find that it's like sticky thick either. It has a big curved doe foot applicator. It's so nice and comforting on the lips. It has a touch of a tingle as well. It definitely will plump the lips. And it smells just like a straight strawberry smoothie. I love it. Same thing goes with the Forget the Filler Overnight Lip Plumping Mask. I actually like to use this at the beginning of my routine. And if I just want like a little bit more of that plumped up look to my lips, this does have a little bit of a tingle to it, but it is also a lip mask, so it's more hydrating. I feel like this kind of a product is really underrated. Like I don't see a lot of lip plumping lip masks. When I prep my lips with this, it can kind of like start to get the blood flowing, add that little bit of plump to my lip look, but also it's hydrating as well. But if you do want a lip sleeping mask that is, you know, has no plump to it and you want to just add that seal of hydration, the Laneige lip sleeping mask is always a good way to go. I have like a bunch of the limited edition flavors, but I also have the vanilla. It's one of those lip masks that really does a good job of softening the lips. So if you have a lot of textural issues, it does such an amazing job softening any of those textural issues, adding that hydration back into the lips, and also doing a good job of protecting them, especially throughout the night. But I also like taking a little bit, adding it to my lips, and then going in with like just a color on top if my lips are feeling particularly dry. One more lipstick product. I absolutely love the Makeup by Mario Ultra Suede lipsticks. This is the shade Annie. This shade is in particular my favorite. I just find that it's a really unique terracotta shade, and I wish brands came out with more of these shades. I just feel like they brighten up a look so prettily. This formula is gorgeous. If you are like someone that loves that more blotted lip look, you want something more on the matte side, but you still want that pigment. I feel like it's just so pretty. They last really well. To me, they just have this really elegant matte finish to them because they're not too flat matte like liquid lipstick kind of matte. Again, it's that more like softened edge kind of matte look, and I just find it to be really, really pretty. And by the way, I don't believe, yeah, this doesn't have a smell. The Makeup by Mario lipstick has no smell to it. Okay, so we've talked about a lot of makeup, but let's talk about some hair care. I know you guys have been asking for a hair care routine that is in the works for you guys, but let's talk about some products during the savings event that I would recommend. Number one, and this is one that, you know, was a good idea to get when it has a discount attached to it. It's the Dyson Airwrap. Listen, I really love it. I can't sit here and say that I don't absolutely love this product. I feel like it's taken my hair to like the next level. I'm able to style it so easily without adding a lot of damage to my hair. And I feel like once you get the hang of it, it's just so fast and it's really natural for me. It adds a lot of bounce, it adds shine. I personally think that it is definitely worth the money, and I'm excited to show you guys how I use it because I use different attachments on different days of like my hair. Like day 1 out of the shower is different than like day 3, but it's something that I take with me when I travel. It's pretty much replaced all of my other hair tools. Like it's all in one, and that's definitely one of the reasons why I purchased it a few months ago. I know some people really recommend it, some people don't like it, but I'm one of those people that really, really loves it. There's probably a good chance that it might go in and out of stock during the savings event. It's one of those items that notoriously comes in and out of stock. Number 2 recommendation, aside from the Airwrap, would be the K18 hair mask. This is the molecular repair hair mask. It actually repairs the keratin chains within the hair. I have absolutely loved this product since I started using it. It really does such a good job of making my hair feel stronger. It also in general, my hair feels healthier, it looks shinier. I just notice a healthy bounce to my hair. You can use it as a leave-in mask that you wash out, but what I like to do, towel dry my hair and then use this as a leave-in mask, like just leave it in. I don't wash it out until the next time I shower. Really good. And I just find that it is really easy for your routine. You just kind of like skip over a conditioner. Now it is expensive once you use it a few times in a row. I think it's 5 uses, don't quote me on that. You can just kind of use it here and there to maintain. I have personally found that this has definitely done a good job of strengthening my hair. And by the way, you really don't need much of this product. Like when they tell you 1 pump, start with 1 pump because you'll be surprised how little product you need. But speaking of Olaplex, I also really do still love their hair care, especially the Bond maintenance shampoo. You need just a little bit of this. When I use it consistently, my hair feels really, really soft. It's not stripping whatsoever. It is definitely one that I would recommend. And if you really want a really thick, rich conditioner, the Bond Maintenance Conditioner is also really beautiful. This adds a gorgeous glossiness to the hair, definitely makes it feel more hydrated and smooth. Now for a couple of fragrance favorites, the first would be the Hypnotic Poison from Dior. This is like my everyday fragrance must-have. I love it. I love it. It smells to me like I prefer more of a sweet smell, typically with notes of vanilla, and this, it smells like just like homemade, like a homemade root beer float. It just, it's gorgeous. It's sultry, but it's not like sickeningly sweet. Like, you know how root beer has a bit of that fizz to it, has a little bit more of that depth. This has the same thing. God, it smells good. And it also has, it's like root beer float mixed with a touch of My Little Pony. If you know the smell of My Little Ponies, that's a smell I haven't thought about in a long time. It's like the perfect mix between those two smells. It's really, really good and I love it. And the last fragrance favorite is anything from Volupsa. I always have a hard time with this name. Their candles are my favorite candles. I feel like they're my go-to. This is the Kalahari Watermelon. This is a new one that I picked up for spring. It's like a watermelon mojito. Like, so fresh and sweet, but not overwhelmingly sweet because it has that fresh kind of mint thing going on with it. Wow, it's really good. I also love the pomegranate. I love the coconut one. You can get like the mini sizes that like you can get a trial of those. And once you find your favorite, like you can get the jars, but wow. And lastly, I have one skincare favorite that I wanted to talk about. And it's because it's, for me, like this is a special, oh, watch me just break it. This is a special favorite to me. So this is the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow PHA BHA Toner. If you have dry skin, but you still break out, if you get like blackheads, and you just find that a lot of BHA toners really strip your skin and you can't use them very often, using this twice a week has really done wonders for me. The texture is more like an essence. It has a little bit more heft to it, never stripping on the skin. It's really hydrating, but it does a good job of exfoliating, of clearing out the pores. This is a mini, but they also have the full size. I have the full size in my room. If you have sensitive skin, if you have dry skin and you're like, geez, every time I use other BHA liquid toners, they just are a little bit too much for my skin, highly recommend checking this one out. Oh, one last hair favorite that I almost forgot to talk about. Aqueous. Any of the Aqueous towels. I don't like to wash my hair if I don't have one of these. And I know that like, you know, there are a lot of brands that come out with hair towels, but not all of them are like good quality. Like I run these through the wash and they're still the same when they come back out. They do such a good job of cutting down on dry time with my hair, keeps the frizz at bay, and it just is such a soft material. Again, if I don't have these, like I don't want to wash my hair because I know I'm not going to like the way my hair look turns out as much as if I had used this first. If you haven't tried using one, I highly recommend it. It will definitely be a game changer. Guess who just like stopped the camera and was like, oh, I'm done. Like I'm finally done filming without even getting into her Sephora cart. Okay, so this is my wish list. These are all the items that I would like to pick up during the sale. This definitely may change. Some may go into the cart and some may, you know, come out of the cart. But number one, I would really like to try the Liss Beauty Cream Blushes. Specific, I'd really like to try the shade Self Love. I know a lot of people talk about these blushes and I would really, really like to try them. They're more of like a satin kind of texture. They're more on the affordable side as well. Great shade ranges with all of the items, so I'm definitely interested in checking that out. If you guys have tried it, let me know down below. Like if you've tried any of these items that I'm about to talk about, let me know if you think that they're worth it. Also, the Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer Blush. I have to try this. Like I definitely am going to purchase this. I'm going to get the shade Sun Drenched. I just think it's such an interesting concept. I assume it's just like a typical liquid blush, but I have to know for myself, have to know for you guys. Might be interesting too to pair with the tinted moisturizer. I'm not sure if I still have that, but yeah, I'm just curious about how that formula works. I also would like to pick up another of the Say Dew blushes. They have a new shade called Spicy and it has my name written all over it. I'm like, that looks like such a perfect shade for the summertime. I definitely would love to pick that one up. That's one of my more favorite liquid blush formulas out there. I also would like to pick up the Topicals High Roller Ingrown Hair Tonic with AHA and BHA. So I feel like bikini season's like right around the corner and it would be really good to have like one of these items that if I do get any ingrowns, to be able to just have that solution on hand to take care of everything would be really nice. And I really trust Topicals. They do a good job with actives, I've found. It seems like a really convenient item too, because I believe it's like in a roller, right? Yeah, it's like a roller. I'm like, that is genius. Just roll it on. I just feel like for the armpits, which would be so easy. Now, a product that I definitely want to pick up is the Iconic London Glaze Dual Ended Eyeshadow Crayon. I swatched this in person, the shade Volcanic. I loved it. I just need to pick it up because when I was planning on buying it back then, when I swatched it, they just were out of that shade. I assume this is a very popular shade, so I'm not sure if it's gonna sell out again. This is one of those liquid glitter crayon duo products that is very promising to me, and these kind of items I'm always a little bit skeptical of. Again, with liquid shadows, I'm very picky. Another liquid shadow I would like to try are the Danessa Myricks Twin Flames liquid eyeshadow. I've just been having a hard time picking a shade. If you guys have any of these, what shade is your favorite? I'm really looking for like a pretty glossy effect. Also really love to try out the Huda Beauty Matte and Metal Melted Double-Ended Liquid Eyeshadows. I feel like no one really talks about these, but I have seen people use them and like get really pretty looks. I just need to see for myself if this is an item that I can recommend to you guys. I want to be your kind of one-stop shop for cream and liquid eyeshadows. So I feel like this is a formula that I need to look into and try out. I'm also interested in trying out the Tarte Mini C Power Flex Full Coverage Vegan Concealer. I did try the Hydro Sealer. I was not a fan. It was too drying for me. But this seems to be like a similar formula to that. Seems to be like a similar but not the same formula. I don't know. It's a mini, so I might try it out and give it a go. I have another NARS Light Reflecting Foundation in here that I want to pick up for the summer. And I feel like I might even pick up my self-tan of the Kosas Revealer as well, because I really, really love that one. And who knows, if I end up liking this It Cosmetics foundation, I feel like this summer I'm gonna do a lot more self-tan because I want to do some more videos for you guys on like the best techniques that I find, the best products. So I'm gonna need some foundation, some darker shades, and my collection is very light. I would also really like one of the new shades of the Makeup by Mario Ultra Suede Sculpting Lip Pencils. I've swatched them in person. The formula looks really gorgeous, and the shade Toasty is like right up my alley, so I feel like I'm going to pick that one up. I'd also like to pick up another one of the K18 masks, just to have it on hand. I'm kind of interested in picking up another shade of the Sephora collection Colorful Eyeshadows. Tarte also has come out with a cheek stain, and it looks really interesting. I know that they had this product before. I'm not sure if they're bringing it back or if they've changed the formula, but I'm kind of getting more interested in Tarte. It looks like they're kind of switching up their releases, and they're like, I guess, more intriguing to me than they have been in the past. So that looks pretty cool. And also their Maracuja Juicy Lip Plump. I'm wondering if this is like similar to the Maracuja lip balms that they already have, and if they've added plumping, like a plump to them. I don't know. Let me It is, it's a lip plumper. Oh, I gotta try it. That is definitely staying in the cart. I gotta try that one out. And I'll definitely try that out and then compare it to the original to see how the formulas differ. I would also love to pick up the new cream eyeshadow quads from Tom Ford. They came out with a cream eyeshadow quad. Like, I don't know how this was off my radar. I saw them featured on Becca Sun's channel. She had the Tiger Eye palette, but I'm personally interested in Smoky Quartz, which are like, they look like these beautiful smoky mattes that you can just get this epic, like, sexy 90s supermodel kind of look. Like, I have to pick it up and see what kind of looks I can get out of it, if the formula is worth the price point. Really, really excited about that. And then I also have on here the Makeup Forever lip pencil. This is the eye, lip, and brow pencil in the shade Wherever Walnut. I'm really interested in this shade. It looks just like a perfect shade to overline your lips. I saw this featured on TikTok. I wish I could mention the creator, but it looked really, really beautiful on her. So I'm interested in that. And I have swatched it in person and the formula looks to be like up my alley. I also have the Skylar Coconut Cove Eau de Parfum Rollerball in here. I love coconut. I love everything coconut, and I feel like this is the perfect time to pick it up. Summer is right around the corner, and I would love to have a coconut perfume that has a bit of an elegance to it. Definitely plan on picking that one up. I also have the Bobbi Brown Skin Corrector Stick in Light Bisque. I'm just kind of interested in seeing how this formula differs from the original Bobbi Brown corrector. You guys know that I have more hollow under eyes, and I feel like if this is a really nice formula to kind of combat any darkness or discoloration under the eyes. I also have on my list the Plur, is that the name? Plur Missing Person Eau de Parfum. Apparently it smells very similar to Glossier You, and I love Glossier You. That is 100% on my list. I'm really interested. I mean, if you're a fan of Glossier You and you've tried this, let me know how similar they are. Is this one better? I'm probably gonna pick this up. I also see these NARS Mini Afterglow Lip Balm Duos. They're definitely more affordable, and with the discount, it's, you know, even more affordable. So I'm kind of interested in those. Shelby Wilson talks about those all the time. But yeah, that is my cart right now. Things will probably get taken out. Some things might come back in. If there is anything that you guys are interested in me trying out for upcoming videos, please let me know, because I will be taking advantage of the spring savings event to do some shopping. And I want to say that's it. I don't know. I feel like I've been here for hours. Anyway, if you're still here, if you're watching, thank you so much for sticking around. I really hope this video was helpful. I will leave all of these products linked down below. If it is within your budget, if you decide to pick up any of these, you can support my channel by using any of the links. Of course, no pressure to do so though. I will also leave a link to sign up for Sephora Beauty's Insider program down below. Thank you again to Sephora for sponsoring this video. And let me know if you have any questions on any of these, a lot of items, just let me know and I'm happy to help. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one.